What's up, everyone? Happy 2026. Happy New Year. Glad you're with us this morning. I know there's a lot to do. There's a lot to cover. We've got football games all day, other sports to cover as well. Let's see how we did yesterday on the recap screen before we bring in the stars of the show. Wow, a lot going on here. Looks like 3 wins, 3 losses. The parlay that Mike put out. Now, Mike's on the show with a nice pick today, but that parlay ends up losing. Ohio State goes down, obviously. Derek Queen didn't get there, but we hit 3 here. We go 3-3. Probably lose you a little bit of juice, although Mike's play was greater than plus 200. But ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a great day because not only do we have picks and we got college football all day, some college basketball, NBA, among other things. But ladies and gentlemen, it's a new year, a new chapter, and we've got EC back on the show. What a crew we have today. We've got Berg Betts. We've got Emory Hunt. We've got Mike McClure, and EC is back. Everybody's already shouting you out in the chat, EC. They love to see you. I got to start with you. How you doing today, buddy?
Sia, it's so great to be back. I can't wait to do early wedge shows with you all year, to be on with my guy, Bobby Locks there. He's a college basketball genius. And then my 2 college football guys that I loved doing a show with last year, M Squared, who loves taking my money. Emory, who I see him in TV commercials now. He called Cam Ward from the start. He's on during every NFL game. I see Emory's face on the big screen. Guys, great to be on with you. Happy New Year.
Emory is undoubtedly the most famous person on this screen right now. He's wearing that CBS Sports. He's like the face of HQ as far as I'm concerned, at least from an analyst perspective. That's how I see it. Emory, how you doing? Emory, we had the college show referenced by EC yesterday. Just now. We did that show yesterday, me, you, and Mike. I thought it was a great show. And I got to give you credit because if memory serves, you were on Miami plus 6.5 on that show.
Plus 9.5. We were shocked that there was that high. And it was crazy that, we didn't think Miami was going to pull out the outright upset. But at the end of the day, we saw how what they did against A&M carried over against Ohio State. And you have to like their chances the rest of the way.
Bob, you cover so many different things. I know a lot of people, when they see you on the show, they like that you cover college basketball. Is that what we have today?
College basketball today. And I was watching some of those games. Personally, I do bet college football a lot. I was on Miami plus 9.5 as well. So that was nice to end the year with, and a North Texas cover last night for anyone who followed.
Absolutely love that. Lydia's in the chat. Silas in the chat. Wildcat Country, which of course is EC. Now, EC, you mentioned golf in the early wedge, which I think might be, rumor has it, that might be coming around earlier this year than it was last year. In other words, we might be covering the Sony Open, but that's not confirmed yet. But I do want to mention, because you'll probably be at the Phoenix Open because you live there and you tend to go. I looked at the odds for the Phoenix Open, which are available. Like Sony odds aren't open, but Phoenix odds are always open early. Do you want to guess what Scotty's number is to win the Phoenix Open?
So I saw it. See, it's like something under 3-1, which is do not bet list worthy, even though Scotty Scheffler is the probable winner. And they list golfers like Justin Thomas is not going to be in the field. He's recovering from injury. He should not be listed in those odds. There's no value there. Do not bet it. I will just say that.
It's plus 220 at some places. Like, terrible. I mean, what are we doing? Just terrible. No. Without Scotty Market, listen, I can't wait to talk to the early wedge. We'll have golf picks back on this show once the Sony Open starts. So in literally 14 days, I'll be like, I've been bringing you NFL picks, a college pick here and there, but it's going to be a lot of golf picks on this show as well. All right, Mike, we got to get to your pick, because on the show yesterday, the college football show, which I encourage everybody to listen to, because outside of the Miami game, there's plenty more picks for you to pick from. You had said that this Oregon game against Texas Tech is, I thought what you said, and maybe I'm wrong, one of the biggest positions you've had all year.
It is, in fact, the biggest position. I guess it's technically everyone's play today should probably be their biggest position of the year if we're starting a new year. However, this was locked in back in 2025. I thought my biggest position was going to be Alabama over Oklahoma in round 1. And throughout the last week and a half, slowly been building on the Oregon side. And it is now the biggest play that I have made in probably a year and a half. and it's the Oregon money line. Played it at -124, played it on a few exchanges, a few different books. I think my average cost right now currently is right around -122 on it, but I made the number all the way up to -150. I love this spot for the Oregon Ducks. First of all, we continue to see the opening round bye be a disaster in college football. All those teams have been winless since it has existed. I just like the spot for Oregon. I think they've got a significant edge at quarterback. And when I look at Texas Tech, the one thing that really stands out to me was their average third down distance, 119th in college football. This team basically faced 3rd and 7 to 3rd and 8 routinely against Big 12 defenses. This is far from a Big 12 defense. They haven't been able to run the football with much success. And if you can't run the football with a ton of success against a team like Oregon, you better have a quarterback that can run and be a +1 in the running game. That is not what they have here. You're going to see Oregon man up in a lot of different man coverage stuff. I don't think Morton's going to be able to beat him with his legs. So I really love this spot for the Oregon Ducks. Look, I love Texas Tech. We've talked about it all year, gave them +590 to make the college football playoff to start the season. I just think they're 1 year early. We knew they were going to be a threat with the NIL money and trying to run through that Big 12 conference. They've done it. They're here. I just think they're a little too early to the party here, and Oregon runs away with this one.
So I have reason to believe that there are more opinions on this game, both from Emory Hunt and one Eric Cohen. So EC, what's your take here? Are you on Texas Tech or are you on Oregon?
You know, it pains me, obviously, to go against M squared ever. But the Red Raiders, they've been elite all season. And I know it's the Big 12, but, you know, I'm a Big 12 guy with my Arizona Wildcats. So outside of losing to ASU with a backup quarterbacks, Texas Tech's next closest game was decided by 22 points. The odds makers just not giving him enough credit, including M squared. Now, I could be wrong here, but that defense is a top 3 unit in the country. And by the way, who did Oregon really beat this year? Penn State in overtime.
JMU.
Iowa.
JMU.
Sorry, Sia, but JMU, USC. I mean, Washington. JMU. I mean, really, what are we doing here? M squared. I feel like New Year's Day, it's a new year. Are you in or are you out?
Whoa.
I'm in for a showdown. First of all, you said top 3 unit. I thought you were going to say they have a top 3 unit in this game when we're talking about offense, defense, special teams. However, yes, I am absolutely in on a showdown. And to start the year with a little confidence, I told you I made the number in this game $1.50, -150.
You did say that.
I will pay you $150. You pay me the $100. You get a true showdown at correct, true odds. You're not giving me any favors on the money line here. -150 is the price point that I will lay.
It's gonna be a showdown.
Steven says, cue the music. I was hoping you would do that. I think Ben jumped the gun a little bit, but we run that back. I need to hear it. EC. Can you say the magic words?
Cue the music, Ben.
It's gonna be a showdown.
We're 8 minutes into 2026 and we already have a showdown. And what a gentleman that Mike is in offering the 150, because that's where he values the game. All right, we love it. 150 versus 100, our first showdown. Now, I know, Emory, that you've got a take on this game, but let's hear your takes. You got a lot of college football takes, including a take on Arizona tomorrow. So EC, for 2026, first time, you've got the floor.
All right, I have 3 picks. I'll go through them quickly. I like Alabama today. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think Alabama can win this game outright. Ben, I'm really sorry about this, but Indiana, I feel like they got their national championship against Ohio State. They won the Big Ten. Their guy won the Heisman Trophy. Alabama. They have better talent. I mean, maybe I'm crazy here. Give me Alabama 26, Indiana 24 in an upset, but I love the +7.5. How about the under in the Sugar Bowl, under 55.5? Now, in their last 4 games, Georgia has given up 10, 3, 9, and 7 points. Do you really think Ole Miss is scoring 30 against them? No. Do you think they're going to score 20 against them? I say no. I think Georgia's defense holds serve here tonight. It's going to be a fairly close game, but we're not going to see the shootout that we saw on October 18th. Give me Georgia 27, Ole Miss 19, and under 55.5. And finally, tomorrow night, I'm taking an early flight on Friday to San Diego to see my second Holiday Bowl in person. My Arizona Wildcats are giving 2.5, 3 points. I've seen the line as low as 1.5. I don't care. I am playing it. Maybe it's a homer pick, but Arizona was red hot to end the year. They are 9-3. They finished on a 5-game winning streak. And look at SMU. If SMU had beaten Cal in the final game of the year, they would have been the ACC championship game and very well could have beaten Virginia. And if that happened, SMU could have been in the playoff and Miami might have been out. SMU does not want to be here as much as Arizona. We're going to have a partisan crowd. Arizona 28, SMU 20. We're covering the -3.
EC, you're going to that game, right?
I will be there, Sia. I cannot wait. It's going to be a long 48 hours, but I am stoked to watch the second 10-win season in 3 years. I'm loving it.
Bob, what are you chuckling about?
I'm just happy that EC's back. I could hear EC's pitches again with like how confident he is. Like, this is a great way to start 2026.
You see this, M squared? You see it? Yeah, you see it.
I mean, I love it. Maybe it's a homer pick, guys. I don't know. Can't put my finger on it, but maybe the polo, maybe the flight booked. I don't know. Maybe a homer pick here.
Emory, help me out here. You know you like U of A.
Who are they playing tomorrow?
I like the over in that game for sure. I think we'll get a high scoring game. To me, they both got the same type of chances to win. That's why I like the over in that more. So
Emory, you've got 3 picks. Now, I want to get to just one of your picks right now because what I'd like to do, and Bob, I don't know if you have an opinion on this Alabama game. What I'd like to do is go around the horn because this implicates Ben too. So Ben, you can jump on the show after some of these takes or whenever you want, actually. But Emory, can you give out one of your picks now, the Alabama one, because it seems like we have agreement here with EC.
Yeah, I'm taking Alabama plus the points. I think when you look at Indiana's defensive line being weakened by the injury, Alabama still being the Alabama that we know within the trenches on both sides of the ball, that right there is going to slow the pace down. It's going to make it a closer game. And in any event, when you look at Indiana, can they consistently find points? And Alabama's inconsistency against Indiana is also a big matchup. I think this game goes 24-20. So plus 5.5. At one time it was plus 6.5. One time plus 7.5. I'm still taking Alabama plus the points here to keep it close.
And Mike, from the college football show, I seem to recall you agree with this as well.
Yes, that was the first play I locked in was Bama plus 7.5. Like you see, I think they are very live to win this outright. Just market sentiment, exact opposite on both of these teams. Indiana clearly at an all-time high, running the table, beating Ohio State in that fashion in that big game. To me, I'm very concerned about the defensive lineman they lost celebrating after the game. Very unfortunate for him, but it's a big deal, particularly if we have a wet field today. I like Bama, but the question I keep asking everyone I come back to, Bama, when they were beat up, not healthy like they are today, not rested, they closed as a plus 1.5 underdog to Georgia in a neutral site. Would you take Indiana -6 against Georgia in a neutral site bowl game right now? There is a 0.0% chance anyone on the screen would do that. Therefore, I think the line is wrong here in this game.
Yeah, and I think the Stephen Daly injury is notable. I mean, I don't know how much depth Indiana has. We're already down a defensive lineman from what I recall. Bob, do you have a take on this game?
Not really. I was going to let these 3 other guys who are more plugged into college football. I do have a friend from the Berg who is an IU alum that it will be in attendance at the game, so I'll be rooting them to win. But I do agree that I think Alabama does what it needs to do, especially with their defense, and covers the game.
Yeah, a lot of other people mentioning a wet field. Ben, I knew you were going to make an appearance to defend Indiana, but I guess minus the 7.5, minus the 7, whatever it is. Ben, speak your mind here.
Yeah, so I already bet the minus 6.5 a couple days ago for Indiana. That might be a very homer pick. I know I'm wearing the Big Ten champion shirt already. Like, I'm very prepared for this game, but I'm also very nervous because, like you guys have been saying, that Big Ten championship was like Indiana's Super Bowl, really. I mean, it was in the state of Indiana. And it was like 80-20 in terms of Indiana fans. It was their biggest game that they have ever played. So I'm a little worried they go into this game after such a high moment in their sports career a couple weeks ago. But if I were to take the bias hat off, I would like Alabama first half. And I think we saw this a little bit with Ohio State, where you get an extra week off, and sometimes that just doesn't work for teams that are kind of getting in a groove. They've been winning. They're getting used to playing every single week. You have a week off, you get a little rusty in that first half. And I think Alabama is good enough to stick with Indiana. You're getting, I think, 4 points in the first half. So if I'm taking the Indiana cap off, I would go Alabama first half as a lean for me in that one. But I already took, Indiana laying the points for the full game.
Real quick here, Mike, this is really impossible to quantify, but one point you made in favor of Indiana was the fact that, yeah, they have the long layoff, and that appears to not be helping teams over the last couple of years. Again, small sample size. But the fact that they're coming off a loss, you actually think almost reverses it, almost helps them a little bit lock in, correct?
No, other teams. Indiana's coming off the win. I think it hurts Indiana.
It's Ohio State. Okay,
yeah.
That's right.
Indiana is peak market, peak celebration. Like I said, they essentially won their national title by beating Ohio State in that game.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Ohio State, I guess it ultimately didn't help them. Go ahead, Mike.
One more question though for everyone there. After watching Ohio State in that game and then again last night, does that improve your opinion of Indiana, or does it make it kind of neutral? I don't want to rip on him too much, but I can't get back to the fact that the dude had 27 of the 33 touchdowns were against Kennesaw State, Indiana State, Illinois, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Purdue, UCLA. And then the other 6 good, the good teams when he played Iowa's defense, which we saw play well yesterday. Again, Oregon, Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State. He had just 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in those games. Ooh. Now you're talking about a wet fields. Now I think that he's had a great season. It's been a great story. Curt Cignetti's done a lot with a little relative to all the other top programs around him. I question, we're talking about in the chat, who did Texas Tech play? I mean, who did Indiana play? And they showed up and beat Ohio State, but the body of work that we've graded a lot of it on was definitely not against top tier competition.
So M squared, when you saw Ohio State last night, and obviously I was shocked by it, does that make you question the Big Ten in general, including Oregon?
Not really personally, because I think Ohio State probably wins that game still without the just blatant, obvious pick six, like just bad freshman quarterback, horrible read, just made up his mind where he was going. Excellent play on the defender's part. Without that pick six, I think that game was extremely close last night, and I thought neither team was great. I think Miami was great physically and had a great defense, but their offense in that game was still far from elite. They just have one really good running back that can break a few very good tackles at the right time. But I thought the game was decided on that pick six pretty clearly.
I'm not sure I've seen anybody jump a route, a wide receiver screen or quick out more like easier than that. It was like the perfect read, and he just threw it right to him. All right, let's get to we have so many more picks, including SportsLine picks. And of course, Emory, you've got 2 more picks. Bob, you've got a college basketball pick. But I do want to mention BetMGM account holders will receive a college football playoff odds boost today. Just place a college football playoff bet, and if it hits, you'll get extra winnings only at BetMGM. Let's take a look at some of the SportsLine picks, because we've got a few across a lot of different sports here. Liverpool versus Leeds, both teams to score -130, and Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Fulham draw no bet +130. Of course, those were buckets plays from yesterday's show, but of course, those games are today. I also gave out a play yesterday in the NFL. We'll probably put it on tomorrow's recap screen because it's a Saturday play, but it was that Baker Mayfield under 33.5 pass attempts. Larry Hartstein likes Bradley +5.5, -110. Don't forget, Larry just hit Virginia Tech +5.5 yesterday against UVA. Virginia Tech in triple overtime, an outright winner there. And then we got Maxime Renaud over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists, -118. That one, courtesy of Prop Bet Guy. We've got a lot more to get to, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Chop and Broccoli says, I changed my fantasy football team name to I Win Google Me. And of course, I won. So I'm on IU money line. That's actually a pretty good reason to do it. Bob, talk to me about college basketball today.
Excuse me. Yeah, not the greatest slate. I think I said in the Discord that I'll be treading lightly for a little bit. However, this one game did pique my interest. Northern Colorado at Montana State. Northern Colorado just beat Colorado on the road by 5 points. So I could see how this could be a big letdown spot for them. The Bears haven't played as tough of a schedule as Montana State, but I just think that they're the better team in this one. Northern Colorado is a deep team. 10 guys playing 10 minutes or more. They're also way more efficient on offense. They can score inside and outside. And while both teams don't defend the three really well, that's okay for Northern Colorado because Montana State hasn't shot the three well all year. However, if the threes aren't falling for Northern Colorado, they can score inside, and they're the 20th best in the country inside the arc at this point. Montana State also commits a bunch of fouls, like almost 20 a game, and Northern Colorado is by far the better free throw shooting team, shooting almost 80% on the road. Northern Colorado also 6-0 ATS on the road thus far. I understand that this could be a letdown spot, but just give me the better offensive team. Northern Colorado plus 3.5. There was also one more game that I had my eye on. It was probably the best game of the day. It was Utah Valley, Tarleton State. The big question for me, I really wanted to play Tarleton State at plus 4.5 at home, 7-0 straight up. However, their best player, I think it's D.R. Johnson, only played 9 minutes last game. He comes off the bench. He's their best player. He scored like 30, 40, 20, 30, and then he only played 9 minutes last game. Depending on his status tonight and depending on the line movement for Northern Colorado, Tarleton State could be another play for me. And that was one I was going to maybe see. EC, did you like Utah Valley by any chance if I'm leaning Tarleton State?
I can't tell you that I've handicapped that game, Bob.
Oh, man.
I just, it's college football mode right now. So I'm gonna trust you on.
Is there any other game on the card that may be piquing your interest, EC?
I haven't even looked at my parlays. It's still early here in Arizona this morning.
Okay.
I haven't even looked at my college basketball parlays, so no showdowns yet with you, but soon we'll have one. Don't worry.
Fine.
All pro. Go ahead, Bob.
No, I was just going to say, fine. You know, we were chatting on the phone yesterday. I congratulated him for coming back, and he's like, I'm like, hey, why don't you take a glance at the card and see if there's any plays that
everyone
you may like.
trying to take EC's money. It's his first day back. He's going to
start off with a bang
by midnight.
Start off with a bang. Why not?
Do you know how much money M Squared's taken from me before? I mean, I think I have a tracker somewhere. It's not good for me, so I hope that I can get $150 of it back today.
Larry Hartstein says EC
one more thing
going to be active.
Very.
I will say I do like Larry's play of Bradley as well.
I was going to ask you about that. All Pro Joe says, good morning, fam. Good morning, EC. Let's go. Hit the like button. What are we doing here? That's a really good call. All right, Emory, we already covered Alabama plus 7.5. We know you like that. Talk to me about Oregon, which, again, Mike and EC have already kind of argued about, and then talk to me about Georgia.
Yeah, I'll start with Georgia first. I agree with EC that this game will be a lot closer than we saw earlier in the season when it was back and forth. Defenses, playoff, one-game season, expect a tightly contested game. And I said this before on yesterday's show that, you know, Trinidad Chambliss has the most playoff championship experience on Ole Miss's team. I mean, being a national champion at the Division II level. So we expect both teams to play their best. So, but I will lay the 6.5 points or 5.5 points with Georgia. So I like Georgia to win the game and cover the spread. Now, EC always makes the same fallacy that everybody makes when speaking about Texas Tech. He's like the, coyote buying from Acme. He's going to fall in the same hole. He's going to buy the power pellets that won't work. Everybody always brings up Texas Tech's defense. Notice he didn't say anything about the offense of Texas Tech. And therein lies the issue versus Oregon. All things being considered, if Oregon has a very good defense in their own right, so does Texas Tech, an elite defense. Which offense do you trust to score if need be? It would be Oregon's offense that has a better quarterback, more dynamic wide receivers, and the better run game. So I will lay the 2.5 points with Oregon. I actually believe Oregon wins by double digits here. And if you go on SportsLine.com later on today, you'll see a bonus pick I have for you guys for the FCS National Championship game and some other NFL Week 18 games. Don't be afraid to bet some of these games in NFL Week 18.
Oh, I love all of that. I will say the NFL Picks show, which Larry was a part of with RJ, Will Brinson, and Claudia, that's already out in your on the SportsLine YouTube channel and in your podcast feed. So definitely check that out because obviously for Week 18, there's a lot of different angles because of obviously different team situations. And me, Mike, and Meg will be doing Fantasy Football Today DFS tomorrow at 11 o'clock on the Fantasy Football Today YouTube channel. Mike, I want to ask you about something because there's a lot of under talk in the chat. I know Gipper's Picks said he liked all of the first quarter unders. And Jacob Couture says, I like Oregon first half under 24.5. Any thoughts on any of those totals?
I understand the want to play first quarter unders. It's something I played a lot of over the last several years. If I had to pick one of them to play, as scary as it is, it would probably be Ole Miss Georgia at 13.5. As far as the under in the Oregon Texas Tech game first half, like I want to believe that we are dead on and correct, and Texas Tech's going to struggle mightily offensively. The concern that I would have is Oregon scoring 21 in the first half is the concern that I would have personally here. I think that this is a spot that Oregon may just have decent field position very quickly and often in this game. I don't mind it. I think he was talking about potentially some sort of parlay alt lining on some of them where you can get like 15.5s, essentially fading 3 scores in every first quarter. Again, not something I get in the habit of doing, but you could probably get away with it today. Yeah, but if I had to play one, it would be the Oregon or it would be the Ole Miss Georgia under fading 2 touchdowns in the first quarter.
EC's presence just makes everyone want to do a showdown, says the SportsLine account. Of course, that's Ben. And Liddy says, one of the people that is really just a huge part of this family, one of many people, I should say, it's a huge part of this family. It's always in the chat, always supporting the show. He says, I need reminders to hit the like. I come in and I forget constantly. So if Liddy's forgetting, that means a lot of other people are forgetting. So a bit of a New Year's resolution for everybody that supports this show. If you could hit the like and participate in the chat as soon as you get into the show, it's actually, a little bit better. We always want you to hit the like. It's a little bit better to hit it on the front end versus the back end here. So right when you get into the show, just to make a note to yourself, hit the like button. Of course, we always want you participating in the chat as well. EC, how you feeling? By the way, there's a lot of people that want the golf show back. They're talking about that. They can't wait. How you feeling about some of this anti-EC pick stuff going on?
Hey, you know what? I had Ohio State last night. I really liked them. They lost. I don't blame people if they want to go. I mean, M squared and Emory are on Oregon. I hate going against them, but I'm confident. I love that under tonight. I love my Arizona Wildcats tomorrow, and I love Alabama. So I think we got a 3-0 here, and hopefully I can take $150 of M squared's money. So that'd be a win-win to start 2026.
Mike, go ahead.
I mean, I think a lot of us on screen enjoy poker. There's some line about it's a joke. I'm paying you with your money anyway, but
rounders when KGB does it to Matt Damon.
Yeah, good call.
Thank you, M squared. Thank you.
Has everybody seen Rounders? Emory, have you seen Rounders?
I can't remember, to be honest. I probably have, but didn't know the name of the movie. I've done that with a lot of movies where I sat there and watched the whole thing and be like, I don't remember it. Then I see it pop up. Like, oh, yeah, I did see that movie. So I don't know. I can't recall, to be honest.
Yeah, you might have to go back and watch. You don't have to just be a poker player to like the movie Rounders, but it is a great movie. Let's see. Is Scott Covey talking smack EC already?
Let's go. I'm back. Bring it.
Oh, I love it. I don't know. Was there anybody, Bob, did you see any questions, college basketball related or otherwise, that you needed to cover?
Nothing much with college basketball. Everyone's just in their glory with EC back, so he could have his time. There's plenty more college basketball to come.
For the record, money in a few weeks, Bob, I'm taking your money.
I wasn't gonna say it. I mean, I kind of want SMU now, but we don't have to take it.
I mean, if you want it, I'll give you the same deal that M squared's given me.
Hold on.
If SMU
give me a couple
wins
seconds. Let me look at the line.
If SMU wins outright, I'll give you plus 150 on it.
Rick Funcannon says Rounders is a great movie. Steven says best movie ever. Lots of great quotes. Yeah, it's an extremely quotable movie for sure. Steven saying perfect timing. M squared. Have I stalled enough, Berg, for you to get maybe another showdown in?
There's no plus money out there.
I mean, the line is dropped from 3.5 or from 3 to 1.5. I still think it'll go back in Arizona's direction tomorrow, but we'll see. M squared, what do you think about that game? Where do you stand on that?
I have a strong stance. Unfortunately, I do not bet or follow any sort of non-college football bowl games. You're the perfect example. I talked about it. I want it to be cool. I want it to be popular. I want them to move the games, keep the corporate sponsors. But until they do that again, bowl games to me, it's the same thing as Little League Baseball. Little League Baseball is really cool if your family member or someone you know is like really playing and you're into it. Otherwise, I'm not spending my time doing it. So I'm not grinding bowl games anymore. Unfortunately, there's enough action for me. I haven't looked at it. It's the layoff between games is too long. The transfer portal, how easy it is to transfer. Yeah, it's just too much work where I'd be putting a lot of work in and having it all be for naught on one decision. So I personally stick to just the college football playoff games at this point and going forward. So no input other than I don't think that you I don't think you can look at that game objectively, at least not wearing that shirt, pulling your flight ticket.
I will say this. I will say this, M-Squared. I actually picked against Arizona basketball a few times in the non-conference. They went 13-0. But if I think the team's going to lose, I'll say I think they're going to lose.
I just think I have Arizona, seen you bet against them.
I mean, I won't bet against them. I'll pick against them, but I won't put my money there. I just think Arizona wants to be there more than SMU. And in a bowl game like that, sponsored by an estate planning company, by the way, what a weird. They're going to have a casket on the field. Okay. Throw a ball into a casket as the in-game.
Is that true?
That is true.
That's interesting.
Is there a Pop-Tart in the casket?
I love.
Is it like some scheme and it's actually the second Pop-Tarts bowl?
I love the Pop-Tarts bowl. I went and bought some of the protein Pop-Tarts the other day just because the one jumped off the toaster. So yes,
really off the rails here.
Yes.
A lot of questions and comments about EC being back on the early wedge. EC, you will be back on the early wedge, right? And also you're hosting, right? I actually don't know the answer to that question.
I believe the answer is yes to both of those. We'll find out that Sia, you were on fire in the fall. I kept seeing all this money that you're racking in with picking winners and such. So I can't wait. You're going to start us off at the Sony Open, but really looking forward to being back with you, Patrick, and Sobel. I assume that's our crew again. Third straight year that you and I are doing it with Patrick, and Sobel was great last year. So hopefully we can bring the crew back together.
Yeah, that Tuesday night betting show is always a really, really fun watch, and it's on the SportsLine YouTube channel, so make sure y'all all locked in. I think that's going to cover it. Arizona Final Four. I think Farzad brought that up for college basketball. That's what I want to get. And Bob, I'm going to go to you on this too. How do you feel about Arizona's chances just to make the Final Four or win the championship? And then Bob, maybe give me a sleeper team that you like or a team that you think is a good bet maybe to win. Maybe you're not looking at the odds right now to win the national championship in college basketball. Then we'll close the show. EC, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I put in some futures for Arizona to win the national championship. Yeah, no, I put one in last May, and I got one in September. I would win a lot, and I have to hedge, and I'll have to talk to M-Squared because he's a lot smarter with the hedging idea. I think Michigan is probably a little bit better than Arizona, but I don't see any reason why this isn't the year that Arizona snaps their 25-year Final Four drought.
Bob?
Yeah, I agree. I told EC on the phone yesterday that I could see them definitely making the Final Four, Elite Eight for sure. One team, I wouldn't say that it's like a dark horse. I agree with Michigan. I think Michigan – I'm sorry, EC. I think Michigan is the best team in the country right now. Right now, who knows what's going to happen. But I would take I wouldn't say a shot, but I think BYU has what it takes as long as they can figure out whatever their problem is in the first half. Because I remember I was on Clemson. Clemson was up by like 20, and then I think they did it again to Delaware at home. So whatever they do in the first half, but once they get rolling, they're almost kind of like Michigan in a way. They just have bodies. They're great defensively. They push the pace. I like BYU, but as we'll see how the first half shakes out in the new year.
Mike?
Yeah, I'd say we talked about this with transfer portal, NIL, and all that. Like it's college football, it's definitely helped a bit. College basketball, it's just the exact opposite. There's maybe 5 I mean, I'll say 8, but I really want to be dramatic and say there are 5 teams total that could win the national title. The cream will rise to the top consistently going forward in college basketball. The days of a Cinderella tournament run are essentially over.
All right, fair enough. Let's take a look at the recap screen before we get out of here. A lot of opinions here on Oregon. Oregon money line says Mike McClure -130. And Emory Hunt is on Oregon -2.5 at -105. Emory also likes Bama plus 7.5 at -105 and Georgia minus 5.5 at -120. Then we go to EC. He's on Alabama plus 7.5 at -127. Georgia Ole Miss under 55.5 at -108 and Arizona minus 1.5 at -112. Of course, he also has the showdown on Texas Tech against Mike McClure. Northern Colorado, but that's not an official pick from EC. Just want to make that clear for the audio listeners. His official picks are Bama, the Georgia Ole Miss under, and Arizona. And then, of course, Bob's got Northern Colorado plus 3 at -110. We got a few SportsLine picks. Liverpool versus Leeds, both teams to score -130. And Crystal Palace versus Fulham. Fulham draw no bet plus 130. Those were Buckets picks from yesterday. Those games go off today. Bradley plus 5.5 -110 from the Maestro Larry Hartstein and Maxime Renaud over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists -118. That one courtesy of Prop Bet Guy. Canucks Hero says, Mike and Sia, question. Thoughts on Tyler Shuck over 231 passing yards, trying to get Rookie of the Year? I don't mind that look. I mentioned on the prop show, I like Tyler Shuck over 1.5 touchdown passes at plus 155. That came in pretty easily. Frankly, he should have had 3 if Dante Pettis didn't fumble at the goal line. We're going to cover Tyler Shuck, and we're going to cover so much more on the NFL prop show Friday at 3 o'clock. So please tune in for that. The Tyler Shuck line's not going to change very much. If anything, it might tick back down because 231.5 feels a little high to me. EC, great to have you back. Bob, always love having you on the show. I think we're going to see you a little bit more as we really get ramped up for college basketball season. Mike McClure, Emory Hunt. Find Emory everywhere. Find Mike everywhere, all over all the CBS platforms. Very happy to have you back, EC, and Ben on the ones and twos. Hopefully he wasn't insulted by all the anti-Indiana rhetoric, but I think we'll have him back tomorrow at 10 o'clock for the early edge regardless. Maybe to talk his talk if Indiana ends up covering the spread and winning that game. I do want to end the show a little bit of a different way. Instead of saying thank you and I rest my case, let's do it this way. Let's hit it big.